You're listening to Potty Mouth Radio, the home of movies, music, television, and comedy.
And now, the hunt for the perfect album.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the hunt for the perfect album for what is probably the most special episode yet. Ain't that right, Dave?
It's the most special of all the special episodes.
That's right, because we have officially, we've recorded well over this, but we've officially
We've
now...
hit a half ton.
Yeah, but we have released 50 episodes. So we thought it would be fun, because we're due a playlist. We thought it would be fun to go through and do our top 10 songs from the hunt that have been given to us by the other person, which means we know for once that we're not going to have any crossover.
This is true. The best thing about this show, and it's purely selfish from our point of view, I'm sure the listeners probably get a little bit of this, but I've discovered so much new music that I would never have come across it ever.
Same.
Off the back of kind of being forced to discover it. Going back through, I hadn't forgotten any of the albums, but I'd forgotten just how many there were.
Same, yeah. Yeah, it was tough because I guess, in theory, it's not really that many because we alternate and we're not looking at our own albums. I guess in theory there's only 25, but it felt like a lot more than that. And I certainly have one song in the list of 10 that I did know before this show because it's such a good song. I just couldn't have it on here. But everything else was brand new to me. And you're right. It's like some of them are even brand new artists to me that I'd never heard of. That's the real fun of this show is just... So did you find it hard to make your list of 10?
Not really. There was sort of, I don't know, probably around 15 tracks that immediately were the kind of short list. I'll say up front, I have left out things that I already knew. So you don't get upset. There's nothing off Disintegration by The Cure.
Okay.
Because my favorite songs off that I already knew very well.
Fair. Yeah.
And the other one that isn't in my 10 is Longest Johns, but I wanted to kind of shout them out because if I was doing kind of top 10 bands that you've introduced me to, they'd probably be in the top 3. Yeah. But because I've kind of gone on a bit of because they're coming out and we're going to go see them in a few months and all the rest of it, I've probably explored the rest of their stuff more so than a lot of the other bands. Yeah. And most of my favorite Longest John stuff now is not off the album you gave me. It's off other stuff. I thought, I'll leave them out because on a song basis, they're probably not in the top 10.
Yeah, but no, that's totally fair. I had a similar... My difficulty was it was really quick to think of the artists or albums that I liked the most. But then I ended up re-listening to a lot of the albums because I was like, but which track am I actually going with? Because that was the other thing. I limited it, of course, to one track per album or artist. Even though, there are some that I loved so much that I could have made a top 10 list just of, one album. But all right, why don't you kick us off?
Alrighty. My number 10 is one that you'll probably have to jump to the middle of the song because it's quite long. It's Black Earth from Rat Boys.
Yeah. Look, I'm not surprised. I'm really glad that this made your list. I saw you post very recently that this is one of the best albums that I've given you. To be honest, I'm surprised that this is so low, number 10, but...
You gave me a lot of good stuff.
It is an 8.5-minute song, most of it's guitar solo. I
love a good long guitar solo.
Well, that's why I actually skipped over most of the singing to get to the guitar solo, because I figured that this was the bit that you like the most. Yeah, this is we're 4:15 in at the moment.
The whole album's great, and it's very close between this and the title track. But I love that track.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you like that album, because I still stand by that is a quote unquote perfect album. All right, my number 10 might sound a little bit out of left field to you. But then again, probably not, because, I mean, you're the one who gave me the album. But one album that you gave me that I really, really loved was Red-Headed Stranger by Willie Nelson.
Oh, lovely.
Who, again, I knew of Willie Nelson. I did not realize that back in the day he was actually this good of a singer. Like, you know, you think of Willie Nelson these days, he's the stoner kind of yodeling guy. But I've gone with the Time of the Preacher, which is a great track.
This is what happened a little bit with me as well. Some of the tracks I've picked are not the ones I put on the playlist.
Yes.
And this is not your favorite at the time.
Exactly, yeah.
When the story began of the choice of a lady and the love of a man, how he loved her so dearly.
It's just such a great storyteller.
Yeah. And it still has one of my favorite lines of any song ever.
Yeah.
Scream like a panther in the middle of the night.
He's a great lyricist. In fact, it was very recently on the show. It hasn't come out on the main feed yet, but we were talking Cake, who, of course, do a cover of Sad Songs and Waltzes, great Willie Nelson song. And that just reminded me what a great songwriter he is. Yeah.
I mean, Always on My Mind's one of the all-time great songs.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's made me happy. And this is going to make you happy. My number 9 is a song called Hackensack.
Oh, right.
Hackensack by the Fountains of the Wayne.
That's awesome. As you know, this is one of my all-time favorite albums, of course. Yeah. And at the time, you seemed a little bit cool on it, so I'm glad that we get some Fountains of Wayne representation.
Yeah.
When we were young, you were in all my dreams. We sat together in period 1, Fridays at 8:15. Now I see your face in the strangest places, movies and magazines. I saw you talking to Christopher Walken on my TV screen. But I will wait for you.
I am so glad that song's there. That's Noosk's favourite Fountains of Wayne track as well. So.
Well, she does have an outstanding taste. Yeah. Not in men, but in music.
Oh, I'm so glad that's there. Oh, man, this has got me excited to see what's up the top of your list, because so far you've picked 2 songs from probably what I think are some of the best albums I've given you. So
that's probably why I picked them.
Yeah. All right. Well, my number 9 is... it's a song that I was familiar with, but actually not this version. And you being the music expert, I'm sure that you'll be able to tell me whether this is the original or a cover. I'm sure that this is the original. It's from Don McLean's American Pie album, and it's the song Vincent.
Yes, original. Yeah.
Yes. I'm only familiar... prior to you giving me this album, I was only familiar with covers of this song.
I've never heard a cover of this song.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just a beautiful track. This was another one where I thought of the album straight away, but it took me a while to really think of which track I was going with. And again, I'm sure that this is not one that was my pick for the playlist at the time.
No, so. I mean, I think it was probably the title track, but I can't remember.
Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils, catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand.
Yeah, you know what a big folk fan I am. It was a great call, that album. So there you go. Yeah. That's my number 9.
Beautiful. What have I got? 8. Oh, 8. This was an album that I'd actually forgotten you'd given me, even though I absolutely loved it. And then go back and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that one. And I had to go back and re-listen to it. But my number 8 is 30 People Away by Thomas Wells.
Ah, yes. Big Thomas Wells fan. I remember this was an album that you really, really liked.
I don't know why. I mean, it was a fair few episodes back, but
yeah,
I've thrown it on a couple of times since starting this. Yeah.
From you, and then in the papers and the radio said at 3 p.m. when all the people crowded around at the stakes, just yards from the lake. But we heard you say that nobody knew about the danger and all the stages opened up an appalling line of people waiting in vain.
Yeah, great track. I love Thomas Wells. So underrated.
Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful song.
Yeah. Alrighty. My next pick. Let me look at my little list here. Yes. This is one that, similar to your last pick, I had... actually, I haven't really re-listened much. But when I was going through the list, I was like, oh yeah, I did really, really like that album. So I threw it on again to re-listen, and I was really struck by Cradle Rock. It's Rory Gallagher.
If I was a cradle, then you let me rock. If I was a pony, then you let me trot. If I was the atom, you strip me into the tree. But when I want to see it, I come and lock your door on me.
Such a great, fun track.
See, it's fascinating how we've changed what our favourites are.
Yes.
Several of mine, I don't think Hackensack was my favourite of Sons of Wayne. I don't remember if the Thomas Wells one, 30 People Away, was the one I picked, but certainly, yeah, some of yours are not the ones.
No, that's right. I'm pretty sure that my pick for the album from that was the title track, Tattooed Lady, which again is a great track, but re-listening, I was like, oh, fuck, Cradle Rock is a lot of fun. I think I probably only have 1, 2, 3, maybe only 3 that actually were my picks for the album at the time. So,
yeah, I think probably about half of mine overall are.
Yeah.
This next one, my number 7 certainly was my favorite off this album. It is Science Fiction by The Wedding Present.
Yes, I remember that being your favorite from the album. Yeah. And I remember not being surprised at all that this was your favorite for this album.
It's got a real Jonathan Coulton feel to it.
Aliens have landed, I don't know what they've demanded, but the Earth will never be the same again. They said, take us to your leader, you know the usual procedure. They demolished all our barricades, and then I woke up and the world was just the same as it was yesterday. We broke up, but I still call your name.
Beautiful track. Love that one. I'm glad that made your list, because that was another one that at the time I remember you being a little bit cool on that album. You certainly thought there were too many tracks.
But that was like 24 songs or whatever, wasn't it?
Yes. All right, my next one, certainly I don't think the album or the artist will be any surprise, because I loved this. I think this is definitely one of the best albums you've given me. I'm yet to dig into their discography because I still find it overwhelming, and that probably tells you who it is, but I'm going with Le Risque by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Tell yourself whatever you need to hear.
I love that album so much that I want to dig into more of them, but there's too much, Dave. There's just too much.
Oh, either the next album I give you or the one after is going to be another one of theirs. I think.
Okay. Yeah, nice.
I am tossing up between two things as to what to give you next, and whichever one I don't give you is going to be the one after. So there you go. My number 6, Mr. E. Flies Water.
Excellent. Okay. Yes, obviously off Daisies for the Galaxy. Again, I do not think this was your favorite track at the time, but
I don't think. I think I was Mr. E's Beautiful Blues, whatever.
Yeah.
Nice living under the house, never eaten much, tough life for a mouse. And if you think you're gonna be spared, you're wrong. Feel nice, head like spiders in the kitchen.
Such a good track. Oh man, have you delved into much of the rest of the Eels discography?
No,
Okay.
I intended to, and I didn't.
Yeah. If you like that track in particular, because the rest of that album really is quite acoustic and folky, but there are entire other albums that are much more that kind of sound. So, yeah, I reckon if you have a little dig, you'll find something you like.
Yeah, no, I'm meaning to.
Alrighty, my number 6 is I think this one may have been my favorite off this album, and again, it's a folk album. You knew what you were doing, but it's a little bit off the wall because there's a lot of whistle. It is, of course, Jethro Tull, and I've gone with Jack in the Green.
Have you seen the Jack in the Green with his long tail hanging down? He quietly sits under every tree in the folds of his velvet gown. He drinks from the empty acorn cup that gilded down sweetly bestows, and taps his cane upon the ground, signals the snowdrops it's time to grow. It's no fun being.
Such an interesting prog rock band. I love Jethro Tull, and of course I was familiar with Aqualung, but I'd never heard this album before. This was another one that was tough. I nearly went Cup of Wonder.
I'm pretty sure Cup of Wonder was going to say was your favorite at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, whole album's just great. So that's another one that I've thrown on several times since you gave it to me.
Nice.
Are we in the top half now? Is this your number 5?
Yeah, my number 5. And I'm pretty sure this, I think, was my favorite off the album, although I had several songs that I really liked. But I know it's not your favorite, but it's the title of it is very close to your favorite, and I'm going with Home by Darren Hanlon as opposed to Us.
Yes. From memory, this was another album that you really enjoyed every track on.
I did.
Home is a great song. Yeah.
I did what everyone else does. I drifted back to my hometown, with my restless heart kept hidden deep within my chest. I knew, they'd have to take me back again.
Yeah, it's a lovely song.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa.
We should go see him live together sometime. He tours a lot. I very nearly saw him in December because every December he tours the entire country doing Christmas shows, small towns, big cities, everything. He does like 50 throughout the month of December. But sadly I missed it. So yeah, we should definitely try get to a show.
Oh, for sure.
All right. This next one, I'm not even going to introduce. This is the one song on my list where I made an exception, where it is a song that I knew from before you gave me the album, but it's one of the best songs of all time. So.
A Monday warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
Such a fucking incredible song. I mean, I loved the entire album, Moving Pictures, which I had not heard before, but I can't go past it. I'm sorry. It's
sometimes the basic best response is still the correct answer. Time for a bit of light-hearted comedy.
Comedy?
With No Children. By the Mountain Goats. I went back to the album thinking, I love all of this, you know, and it's just like, nah, it's still my favorite. Can't go past it.
No, same thing. Sometimes the basic bitch answer. Like, it really is the best song on a fantastic album.
I hope that our few remaining friends give up on trying to save us. I hope we come up with a fail-safe plot to piss off the dumb few that forgave us. I hope the fences we mended fall down beneath their own weight, and I hope we hang on past the last exit. I hope it's already too late, and I hope the junkyard a few blocks from here someday burns down, and I hope the rising black smoke carries me far away, and I never come back to this town again. In my life, I hope I lie and tell everyone you were a good wife, and I hope you die. I hope we both die.
I know I let that run long, but I had to let it get to that point. That it's such a well-written song in a concept album about this destructive couple. Just that song, oh man, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So glad that made your list. All right, you're going to be glad that this next band made my list as well. It was one of our... I'm pretty sure that this one was in like the first 10 episodes when you were like, yes, these are the perfect albums. And it was a band I'd never heard of before. Television, the album Marquee Moon, and I've gone with Friction. That really is such a good album. One of the best ones you've given me. Yeah.
It's one of the best albums of all time. That Tom Verlaine guitar coming in.
Yeah. I'm still looking for a decently priced copy of that on vinyl.
I can't remember where I found that. I still got to give you the Tom Verlaine solo album as well. I keep pushing it back because I think of other things on the show.
All right. Are we up to top 3 now?
Top 3. Oh, Jesus, a strong top 3 too. I think you know, weird to say, but I think the top 3 I've got here are probably better than the top 3 you've got, which is weird because I gave you all those songs.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're pretty strong. Yeah.
Because I don't think you... have any claps in yours for starters.
Okay, yep. I think I know what this is then.
Do you want me to guess?
Is it Long Drag?
Of course, it's Long Drag.
Yes.
Mathematics Club.
I'm so glad. Like, I knew at the time that you liked this album, and I'm really glad that it seems to have grown on you, because I remember your one criticism at the time was that, you know, because I give you a lot of twee, and your one criticism was a lot of the songs kind of blend together.
No, they do a little. I mean, this one doesn't.
This one stands out
in frequent rotation.
Yeah, this is, I bought the 7-inch of this as well in like a Coke bottle vinyl, but yeah.
I take a long drag, close my eyes, and then I lean back, and I drop it into drive. I'm not the one who shut you out, I'm not the one who let you down, I am the one who loves you anyhow.
Yeah, excellent call. I knew that was going to make your 10. That was the only track that I just had a feeling would resonate and stay there.
So catchy.
Yeah. All right. My next track is another one that I was familiar with the artist, but had never listened to the album and was not familiar with the song. But again, you know what I like, and it's Little Green by Joni Mitchell. This entire album was fantastic. I really loved Blue.
Born with the moon in Cancer, choose her a name she will answer to. Call her green, and the winters cannot fade her. Call her green for the children who've made her little green. Be a gypsy dancer.
Man, she's just a beautiful singer, isn't she?
Makes even Cassidy sound like a foghorn. No, that's weird. That yeah, I'm surprised that's the track though.
Yeah,
rather than like River or Carrier or
Again, this was one of those albums that I re-listened to, and I was like, yeah, I think it's that one. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Final two.
This at the time I think was my second favorite track on the album, but it is since it's the one that I've listened to just over and 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 over. And it is Campus by Vampire Weekend.
Interesting. I was just about to say I knew that Long Drag was going to be in your list, but I have no idea what your 2 and 1 are going to be. Like, we've had so many of what I thought were your favorites already.
How you don't know what my number 1 is beyond me.
I'm sure that once you say it,
yeah.
I'm sure that once you say it, I'll know. But for some reason I didn't expect Vampire Weekend to pop up in here, and I'm really glad they did.
I really liked that album.
Nice.
At the time, Oxford Comma was my favorite.
Yeah, that's right.
I've re-listened to this song, with the exception of my number 1, probably more than anything you've given me.
Nice.
I wake up, my shoulder's cold. I've got to leave here before I go. I pull my shirt on, walk out the door, drag my feet along the floor. I pull my shirt on, walk out the door, drag my feet along the floor. Then I see you, you're walking across the campus, cool professor studying romances. How am I supposed to pretend?
Yes. Oh man, I love that. I can't remember if I gave you their second album, Contra. I remember saying to you that I
think
feel
you
like
recommended it, and I haven't got round to listening to it yet.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I feel of those as like 2 parts of one album, really. So, yeah, nice. I'm glad to see that there. All right, I don't know if you'll guess what my number 2 is, but we're going back real early days. In fact, this may have actually been the first album you gave me, first or second. It was really early, but I remember as soon as I played it, that's when I first got really, really excited about the show, because it was so different to anything that I'd heard before and anything that I would have just.
Laurie Anderson this high.
No, well, I did consider Laurie Anderson. I'm not going to lie. It's not that, but it was so different to anything that I would have just chosen to throw on or discovered. It is from Jeff Wayne's The War of the Worlds.
I was about to guess that.
The Eve of War has just stuck with me. I'm going to skip a little bit ahead because, of course, you start with the. But this track is
no one would have believed.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, to me, that track sums up this show. It's like, I remember sitting in the car listening to that album over and over and over again. It must have been the first or second album you gave me.
I think the first one I gave you was the Resisting Calm EP because it just had it on my desk.
Right,
and then this might have been the first album. It was certainly in the first one or two.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not like anything that I would have just discovered had you not said, hey, you have to listen to this. And it's so out there and different. Like, that track is so wild. It's so 70s. It's disco. It's like
so 70s.
Yeah, but I love it. I love it so much. It's such a great album. So there you go. All right, number ones.
Number one, I would have thought this band would be just obvious that it was going to be number one.
I mean, there's so many bands I've given you that you haven't mentioned.
Only one band
yet.
you've given me twice.
Oh, Charlie. But now I'm upset, for example, that like the Beths haven't made your list.
Honorable mention.
Okay, all right. So obviously we're going Charlie Bliss. The question is it going to be from Guppy or Young Enough? I'm going to make a guess that you've gone way back to Guppy.
Incorrect.
Oh, right.
Because Young Enough is in fact the superior album, even though they're both very, very good. I've gone with Hard to Believe.
Okay. All right, let's crack into it.
And I had to go back and re-listen to this album a few times because I was bouncing between 3 or 4 tracks off it.
Yeah.
But this is where I ended up.
Look, yeah, I mean, now that you mentioned, of course it's Charlie Bliss. You're right. I gave them 2 twice. I obviously love them. I knew that they're definitely, your favorite band that I've given you, I'd say. So, nice, of course. I wouldn't have picked that song, though. That's, yeah. I mean...
I don't think... I think maybe Chat Room was my favorite at the time. I don't remember... and initially, straight away when I was doing this, I had Westermark as my number one.
Westermark is my favorite.
But when I decided I'm not going to have both albums because that seemed, when there's so many to choose from, I thought that was silly. I just went, you know what? I don't go back to Guppy nearly as often as I do Young Enough.
Yeah. I'm still really, really digging Forever as well, their new album.
I haven't listened to that nearly enough. I need to get back to it.
Maybe I should give it to you for the show.
Or you listen to it.
All right. Well, my number one is kind of the opposite of my number 2. My number 2 is a song that I love because it's not like anything I would ever have listened to. My number 1 is something I love because it's exactly the kind of stuff that I love.
Which track you've picked though. That's what's.
Do you want to guess the artist?
Surely it's the Primitives.
It is the Primitives, of course it is. They were the first band you gave me that I rushed out and bought the vinyl of that album, especially because, and as you know, the album is actually not on Spotify. So I have gone with Crash, even though it's probably... I mean, look, I love the entire album. It's probably not the one I would have picked if the entire album was on Spotify and I could easily just grab another track. But...
it's the big hit.
It's a great song. I love this song. I love this album.
Here you go, way too fast. Don't slow down, you're gonna crash. You should watch your step. Don't look out, gonna break your neck. So shut your mouth. 'Cause I'm not listening anyhow. I had enough of you. Enough to last a lifetime through. So what do you want of me? Got no words of sympathy. And if I go around with you.
Great album. That was, you gave me that album after, I think there were a couple that maybe I hadn't loved. And I think it was after I gave you the wedding present you gave me, the Primitives. And
it hadn't been the one I was going to give you. And then I had all 3 albums, the vinyls arrived that morning. So, and I just,
yeah.
I know he's going to love that. It's a safe pick.
I do. You were right. I love it. So there you go. So you mentioned honorable mentions before. I don't have any. I didn't make a list. Are there any that you want to?
The only Expert in a Dying Field was in my 10 for a while, and then I think maybe Hackensack pushed it out when I re-listened to both a couple of times. It was like, umming and erring, but I did love that. And I love that whole album, in fact.
Yeah, nice. All right. Well, this has been fun. Here's the trouble. I don't know what to play us out with. Usually I play us out with a song from the album or an honorable... The hell.
Play us out with Experts in a Dying Field or a Longest Johns, because they were both very close. So they're the closest thing to honorable mentions that we've got.
Yeah. Good point. All right, I'm going to play us out with Expert in a Dying Field then. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at pottymouthradio.com or pottymouthradio@gmail.com. Go join the Facebook listener community, and this has been a really fun celebration of 50 fantastic episodes.
Yep,
and
here's the 50 more.
Yeah, I'm excited to keep going because this is what I really love. I remember after about 15 or so episodes, you were like, I'm running out of albums.
Yeah, not anymore. We're getting suggestions from the listeners now as well.
But it just makes you think even harder about, what is a perfect album? Like, what else is there? So, all right. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Can we erase our history? Is it as easy as this? Plausible deniability, I swear I've never heard of it. And I can